$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Umar Rahim here. The covenant. What time, brothers and sisters? Good war. This is the war. Not a war, the war. But most are not aware of it. I'm not sure if anybody really is aware of it. That's Freedom Angel. I mean, what's going on in the Middle East? They class the end time war, so they you know, and for much time you look at it, they think that's it. And the thing is, they lock their own confusion because someone's starting to believe that they choose Abraham, and so they think they're living out the prophecies. Right? They think living out the prophecies and we get them in a lot of trouble. They think, man, no, we're going to prevail. We Abraham's seed. We're going to see what do they call them? Whatever they call their religious leaders, right? They got the population to believe here, right? We choose Abraham. We choose Abraham. And they Amalek, and they're trying to fill that prophecy, but they're not. And that's why people say, why are they going in, man? Can you say losing? No, we're going to win this. We're going to win this. See? Because they think they're filling prophecy. Well, that's their problem. Anyway, this is very simple, brothers and sisters. Like I said, as Elijah Muhammad said, the truth is made so clear in the full error. So if you're erring, that's up to you, because none of this stuff is confusing. Like Farrakhan, it's no confusion about him. The light is on him. Right in the day. You look out there and you see that's a pig. And it's stinking. There's a pig pen. You say, no, that's not a pig. That's a doggy. Can't say it. They say Mama says a doggy. Can't you see it's a pig? All the evidence. So, like I said, I don't argue with people. They keep sending me stupid mail, text stuff. Farrakhan reveals his father of Caucasian Portuguese Jew. Even with the proof of this, it's absolute proof of it. If you just did his birth, you just did the conception, it wouldn't matter to you because you're not there for the truth. It says that's Thessalonians. We have no care for the truth. So here it is. This him is saying. So we're gonna get the link. Like I said, if you can show me one verse in the Bible or Quran that confirms that crap you saying about Farrakhan, I'll get your ass to give $5,000. This last two in public. So, you know, I mean, you can say all the stuff you want. I'm not going to answer it. I don't even pay attention to it once I recognize it's bull crap. But what's your problem? Oh, you missed. Why you crying? Why you upset? If he's what you say is, you should be easy to confirm it. You should be able to find one verse somewhere. See? Anyway, that's the link. That's him saying his father's white Portuguese Jew. That don't mean anything to you because God made you all in the womb, right? God ain't made nobody in the womb. That's 1,500-year-old backwards thinking. God ain't made no one in the womb. God gives you no gifts. None of that bullshit. Oh, God gave me the gift of singing. Nobody gift of singing, that's in your DNA. Nobody can give it to you because if it doesn't match your DNA, it won't work. It won't take. It's your DNA. Period. Mathematics. You are your DNA. You become director of DNA from the originator. And he's dead, 7 trillion years dead. This is the form he takes right now, us, all of us. Everything in every living thing has DNA in it. A version of our DNA, a contracted version, but everything came from us. Trees have DNA, birds have DNA, rabbits have DNA, all have DNA. It's like if you have DNA from A to Z, we got the whole range, right? So say the devils, they got from B to Z, then when they miss an A. Say the gorillas, they got C to Z, they miss A and B. That's the way it works. So you get down to trees, they got just Z, maybe. They don't have, all the other stuff is turned off. All the other stuff is turned off. It's just the Z is turned on. That's just the way it works. Now, prove me I'm wrong. Everything came from us. Anyway, there it is. There's a link. Just look at the link. And then you go in there and look at the archives for that week, for that magazine. It's a copy, the interview in the magazine, and it shows you it was 1996, April 26th. Go look at them. It was online. No, go look at the magazine. He gave the interview. So call him a liar then. This is what Exodus says. They claim that God was for Aaron. He was not. They openly lie. Show me in there where God was for Aaron. He says no. He told Elijah, you don't need him. He really got angry with Elijah. He asked for him. Elijah, when he saw him, he came and said, hey, you done made a mock for the enemies. He was against them. He wanted to get rid of them. And crying, they said he grabbed by his beard and wanted to kill him. That's what Moses did, right? Warlords. Worse shit to come, brothers and sisters. We're in a war right now. I'm going to discuss a couple of things ahead of that, right? Well, it's not because it's part of this. Okay? Things I haven't discussed before. They have no strategy. No, because when you're in the fire, you're a lot of pressure, right? Why you go blink, you just start swinging, trying to survive. So don't roll the dice, make out do something. You just say, go losing power. You know? All that ice, the winter people. Oh man, everything is melting. Our power is melting before our eyes because spring is coming in. Commentary. Okay, let me speak a couple of things here, brothers and sisters. It's about deception. Now, the Quran, I mean, the Quran too, but the Bible specifically, it doesn't give you full descriptions of anyone. There's a reason for that. It gives you descriptions, but you have to connect the dots. Because, say, for instance, you take the Son of Man, for instance, they say, well, they say, he had woolly hair and dark skin. So the reason they tell you that way because you won't be deceived by Master Muhammad or deceived by Farrakhan, because neither one have that. Not saying anything wrong with Master Muhammad. He's just not a son of man. He doesn't fit the description, but they still keep saying it. Well, then something's wrong. He doesn't fit that description. See, but then they tell you little things here, little things here, and things that you connect up because they don't tell you that Lamb is son of man. They don't tell you the Lamb is son of man. Why? But if you understand it, you know that Lamb is son of man. But the point is, the son of man comes from Solomon. They don't tell you that either. Why do you do things they do it? Because if they give you a full description to you, then you have a problem right now. But the person come forward, yeah, I'm Solomon, and they gonna make sure they connect all the dots. So then, how you gonna know distinguish who's from who? Farrakhan claims Messiah. He don't realize Messiah is the Lamb. But he's called Elijah Muhammad the Lamb of God. He never said he was the Lamb of God. He's Lamb. Then he has to break the seals. So he don't feel like he has to break the seals. He don't even claim to break the seals. But that would be the mark of the Son of Man. I mean, that's his badge, so to speak, credentials. Because it says no one can do that, not even the God. Why they say that like that? So you don't give me not that the God was stupid or anything like that. It's just they try to isolate to make sure you understand. There's only one person that Son of Man that title applies to. There's a lot of them I'm not going to tell you about right now. Right? But the thing is that that's where they do that. So when he appears, then no one come up and successfully, right, identify themselves, right, as him, because they only got part. They only know. Oh, see, I got like the old son of Shem. See, I got black. I'm dark skinned. I got never here. So that's all you know. So he says, see, that's what it says. I got it. Okay. But what about other things they say? But he don't know those things that apply to Son of Man. But if he knew, he comes and say, I'm the Son of Man. And I broke the seals. Right? And David is back from him, and I'm his spiritual son. Because I'm Solomon. So Son of Man equals Solomon. That's where it comes from. See, they say all those things. And then he'd be saying, damn. Then you'd be like this here. Which one's them? You see, right through that. Because when he shows up in full array, totally tailor-made, straight down from head to toe. When the Antichrist, when he was born, that's what I'm going to tell you about that. Antichrist, Christ. When the Antichrist, when he was born, that's what I'm going to tell you about that. Antichrist, Christ. Remember, it's really Messiah. They don't tell you that because the point is that why they call it anti. Because you just think, oh, they say Antichrist. They don't just say stuff like that. If you do mathematically, that means that the Son of Man, had to be conceived same time as the Antichrist. Because then they don't know that. So they come say, oh, I'm Son of Man, right? Okay. But once you understand that, when was you born? I mean, I was born in 1999. Right there, because he don't know. He's supposed to connect with Antichrist, so that he'd have to be conceived same time Antichrist conceived. So only one person would be able to connect all those dots. You see, before I mentioned, you didn't even know that. It's called Antichrist. I can't tell no words not put there just for nothing. They're just throw it in there. All those things there for a particular reason. And that's why it says when he showed be like a great light, because also everything that he connects it all. Everything connects. I remember this guy, Hebrew Israelites. I'm not sure how that works out, but this one, he was a younger brother. And I don't know if he around anymore. This was a long time ago. I think he was about the same age I was. I think he was maybe a little older. But he was running a chapter of the Israelites up in New York. I don't know how the organization works, right? And I remember he had some kind of interpretation that that you had to be born in the Middle East, somebody out there to be Yahshua or whatever. So this fool went and got a birth certificate change or something, and I think he got caught and busted on it. Because he wanted to make himself be whatever he could see that thing to be, whatever. The Son of Man have to do that. He'd be himself. And everything in the scriptures point right, to him. Everything. See, if he's the right one, you won't find anything that doesn't match. And so, the point the one I want to get to here is it's like I use that process myself. That process built in, I use it myself. I was like, I knew in the early days, you know, 'cause in 19, I still can't find that book. I don't know why I cannot find that book. The last copy I had, Checkle, it just disappeared. I ain't saying anybody took it, but it disappeared. We'll come there, I ain't see it no more. I looked all over, I looked. I ain't blaming anybody. I must did something with it. And I suppose he's bugging me because that was a form of evidence. Checkle, I know it's got to be a somewhere. At any rate, right one year, I talked about there'd be three, because it says in Daniel, there'd be three that were with him, Now, I didn't elaborate. I said just, right? Because the devil see that, and they come out and they say, well, they send three people and they say, see, hey, here, there's three, and they're all agents. I tell people, if I was like in the mafiosi or whatever, and the guy came, he was an undercover agent, and I found he was an undercover agent, I wouldn't tell him. I don't think that he's got it going. Because now I'm getting intelligence off of him. Or whatever. See, I know what they're doing. They don't know what I don't know. If I tell them, if they go on this thing, they put somebody, I don't figure out. People do things backwards. Like I said, I ain't getting that confused people. But anyway, the point is that I wouldn't do that. And like I see a lot of people do certain things that I don't say anything, because if you tell them, then all they do is know how to cover that part of stuff up. But in other words, you scope them right, and you let them know, well, they want to cover that up. So now they say, oh man, he see that, huh? Let's cover that one up. Now I'm gonna give an analogy here, right? People might take it right or wrong. Say, for instance, like, no, I don't want to give that analogy. Thing is that if you, for real, there's certain things you're going to do. There's certain things you're going to do. It's like, as soon as Elijah Muhammad departed, because they wouldn't allow you to do it. Some brothers did, and they really got angry at him. They gave you X, you just that was X, so that's Elijah Muhammad gave you a name. So he stuck with X. So I was X, right? And 21X. There was 20, the same name before me, right? As soon as I might have departed, and that restriction wasn't anymore. Plus, but I don't even want to go into Wallace name. Got rid of X quick, got rid of me and got me a name. Right? Nice if I got it from Elijah Muhammad, that would have been, that would have been magnificent. You got some people walking around still X's, and that's another story. But that shows something. I keep telling people, action, but they don't still get it. And the Levites, man, it's like, it's like, y'all statues or what? Okay, let me give you some experience here. But keep in mind, if you see something, like I said, those are elevated places, they're all by their marks. They can see things you can't see. They can see, you can't hide from them. They say you're all by their marks. But you think, foolish people always think everybody's stupid. Being foolish, part of being foolish means that you think everybody else is foolish. If you're smarter than everybody else. Yep. I had to get busted most of the time. Somebody, how you see that? Well, damn. Anyway, you take well, let me give my experience, right? Okay, after Elijah departed, right? I went downhill because they got rid of everything, walls and everything. I lost everything. And about a year, man. Yeah, everything I lost everything. Lost my car, lost my apartment, lost my job. All that was tied to Nation Islam. They got rid of everything. So, tell me I'm a liar. Sue me. Because y'all ripped the nation off and broke it and got rid of everything. They care nothing about the believers. So let's just stop it. Ooh. They keep talking about, hey, you looked out for his sheep. Like, that's bullshit. Adjustment here. So bottom line is, I got into IT, long story, and I started taking care of business and moving and grooving, and I got about 83, 84, I guess, by 84. So about what, 9 years after Elijah departed, he left 75? So it's 84, rather, excuse me. Man, I'm jamming. I got mastered American dream. I got my own business. I moved back to New Jersey. Lived in a mini mansion. Right? And we just said mini mansion because I could have got something bigger. But, I had a bunch of children. Something I had that was a bunch of bedrooms and had a sauna in the basement. I installed a sauna in the basement, pool table, had a pool room, and everybody had their own bedrooms, and plus had a detached garage, right? And over top of that was a room that a lady used for like a temple. That's no story. And like I said, rolling in money, rolling in dough. I'm doing it. And so I was in my own IT business. Then I started getting into real estate. So now I started buying buildings. Right? I had my building degree. I know I was going to really jam and build real estate, right? I was going to IT real estate. Well, my way, millionaire, multi-millionaire. No problem. I was doing it. And then, long story, I bumped to the angel. I heard some on the radio. I ain't going to the whole story. And they was reading it. I said, that's interesting. Now, I had read the Book of Revelations when I was a child. I remember reading when I was a child with Waverly Avenue, Newark. My mother was still alive. And I was about 7 years old at that time. I was looking at it. I remember I was like crying or something. I was looking at it. I didn't know what it meant. But somehow, I don't know. And that's the only time I remember ever looking at it because I've been reading the Bible, and that's how I got to Elijah. But I hadn't got as far as I got when I ran to Elijah was Malachi. So I hadn't got to Revelations. I never did really get into Revelations, even with Elijah, because I started reading the Bible. Him, I was reading the letters and all that kind of stuff, right? And so I'm doing American Dream after he's been gone, and I met somebody on this, and that's interesting. And I like to deal with puzzles, right? Let's let me look into that. Boy, did I have any idea what I was getting into. I started looking at the book, and long story short, I started getting to it, started figuring stuff out and everything. So what the hell? I didn't know what I was doing. I was just interested. I had no idea what anything to do with me. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know her angel. I didn't know what an angel was. Never heard anything. I don't think I heard his name before that. Yeah, I didn't know the Lamb. I mean, they call it Elijah Muhammad, the Lamb of God. I didn't know what they call him Lamb. They call him Lamb. I guess it was because of Revelations, right? And they told us the man was Bathsheba Muhammad, but I said, I knew that he's supposed to be, right? Because it's Daniel, right? So I read Daniel. But, I said, get into it, what the hell? And once I started, oh man, what's this? Now I realize now that was meant to be that way. That was a trial for me. Because at the height of my success, I'm moving and grooving. I just met my wife to be, right? We still together after 40 years. Right? Perfect match for me. So I'm moving, man. I'm taking care of business, right? Everybody to this. I'm looking at this thing here. I'm still Elijah. I ain't with Farrakhan. I wasn't deceived by him. I read Exodus. I knew he wasn't no good back then. It dawned on me. That's why I said, I ain't nobody in this stuff. There's been one heaven. Ain't this stuff I'm talking about? I ain't nothing about it. Nothing. All I knew was a message, black man, that kind of stuff. And they ain't talking about details about this stuff. Ain't talking about those things that I'm telling you. It's not the message, black man. The basic stuff. Oh goodness, what the hell? And I'm in this book? And anybody come and give me this book, nobody teaching me, telling me I got to figure out. See, that was a test. Because it was one or the other. It was one or the other. 100% on American Dream, 100%, because I hit 100% on that. 100% on this. It could be I don't play games. And the thing is, it wasn't no particular reward there. And the thing is, the question was, my people need to understand this stuff. Not particularly my people, now you know about the Levites and all that kind of stuff. Or just people, black folks, original people. I ain't know about demons either. The black folks need to need this. So test of how I feel about my people and what's more important to me. What's my priorities? What's more important to me? And speaks to your nature. Because when you're given a choice, you're gonna go along, right? Favor your nature, unless you got fear. Because like they put fear, we couldn't filter our nature in Holocaust because they put fear to block that. They had to go along with the devil's nature. Do whatever he wants you to do. Fear factor. There was no fear factor there. So it was this, my people. And I didn't have to do it. There was nobody tell me, nobody gave it to me. I didn't have to do it. I could just drop it right there. Well, I'm going to be judged for something if I don't know what it means. Hey, I know what that meant. Right? I said, whoa. Because I remember, I'm just getting into it. Nobody's telling me, and I got to figure out myself because nobody's helping me to figure it out. And I realized, hey, there's a lot of work. I said, man, because I touched a little bit, and I said, man, because the main thing, what was it? Actually, when I think about it, let me get that right. Yeah. I don't know why. When I think about it, I hadn't thought about it till now. I think it was chapter 12 was the first chapter I was looking at. I don't know why. Why I jumped to chapter 12? Because I remember I was the first chapter, I was trying to break it down. I saw it said there was this woman and there was stars on her head, right? She's covered with the sun, and had was pregnant, told me to give birth. And me was moons on her foot. So I looked at it, I thought the women represented Earth. The stars above, sun, and the moon. So that was my first interpretation. That was the Earth that was talking about. right? And so I'm just getting into it. At that point, see, that's my level of thinking was that time. Still, there was still enough for me to know that black folks needed to know this because right, this is whole new, more information. And there's a lot of work here. I mean, to figure this stuff out. And it was hard because, like I said, that was my first interpretation of that one. Because that makes sense, right? Had the stars above her head, the moon under her feet, closing the sun. Giving the birth, right out, giving to a birth to a nation. And that's where I got it. So I think the way I came across that point, that a nation about to be born. So I think that's what something in there got me to go further. And if you read Story of Jonah, overnight, everything was going, and I didn't blink an eye. I left there and went to Florida, and nothing. Everything's going. Even my to-be wife, right? I lost her for a while. Down in Demon Island for 3 years by myself. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that I didn't blink an eye. Nobody told me to do it. I said, I saw a need. It's like when I went to look for Elijah. I had a successful career in the military. A sergeant, a successful career in the military. Been there 4 years for a career, right? They had a special program where you can get a Porsche. If you was in the military in Vietnam, I was in Vietnam at the time, right? Some kind of program. I was paying down that. Come back to Newark, man. I was come back hard. I don't come back, man. 4 years in the Army. College education paid for. I got a brand new Porsche, right? Bam. And I'm in my early, I was still a teenager at the time when I was in Vietnam. No, I was back in Vietnam. I think I was 20 years old. I think I got to my birthday, 19. I think my 20th birthday. It was at 19th birthday or 20th birthday, I forget. And after Vietnam, I was just leaving the Army. Anyway, I was coming back home. And then I ran about this. I just read this thing in Malachi by Elijah. I said, man, this person must be around now. I walked away like it was nothing. That's me. But the point I'm trying to make here is, if these were trials and tests, because I said when you try to test it, you're going to favor your nature. That's just a fear factor. My nature was always towards my people. I didn't compromise that. So when I left the military, I walked away. They could put me in jail. They caught me. When I left work, I walked away, especially away from. I've been in Vietnam, second time in Vietnam, right? So I wasn't afraid to be in Vietnam. My tour is almost over anyway. I don't think I had about another month, 2 months left. I walked away. Because the Bible and the Quran tells you to test people. So it was testing, and there was nobody around visible. I was doing it. No, I'm not getting that here. It's this thing in Saul about the Quran. It says he was going to go to battle. He tests people when they pass through a lake. Anybody drinking this water, don't drink water. You probably know the story. You go look it up. So what's the test for? Because you test people for a lot of reasons, but one primary reason is to test their motivation. What their nature is. See, part of this American dream thing, one of the tests is right here. Because, right, if you ever, see, I didn't have a choice at that time. See, at that point, I didn't know there was going to be a promised land. I mean, I didn't talk about we were going to separate, but he didn't really elaborate. And so he said, do for self. So I do for self to Master Mama showed up and then make my move whenever he showed up. And, that's the way I looked at it. And so I was doing for self. Like Mama said. And I was making it happen. Okay. So, like I said, you can test it according to. So here it comes. This happens. choice I made. See, I didn't have a choice before that. Because I didn't see, I didn't know about no angel, one heaven, all that stuff. Right? Know anything about that. Right? That it was the Son of Man, right? With a message of covenant. I know about no message of covenant. I mean, it was in Malachi, but they never talked about it, so, it didn't register. Right? Like I said, after I got with Elijah, I didn't read about it more. I was looking for him, I found him, and whatever he said, and that was me. I would read lessons, I was into lessons, and something, right? Okay. So then, okay, it's a choice here now. This, we said, what the message of covenant leads you. I didn't still know about the message of covenant at the time, yeah, right? But anyway, so when you got a choice, we come to crossroads. Now, what road you going to take? That's where the trial comes in. That's the base of trial. Of course, see? And I could have said, man, if I had stayed with American Dream, man, I've been multi-millionaire by now. A long time ago. Because I was damn near there. Right? I mean, I was doing contracts $50, $60 an hour. How much is that a year? $50 an hour, 40 hours, 24 hours, what's that? 24 hours a week, is it? 40 hours, and the $10 is 400. It's 50. $100 an hour, right? Times 4, that's 400, 1,000, yeah. So 16, 20, 2,400, 24, 48, almost $10,000 a month. $10,000 a month times 12, $120,000 a year. A lot of times, like more than that. Sometimes I invest in houses and whatever. It's my own business. I work when I want to work. Sign a contract, right? Sign a contract. I was allowed out of town a lot. I had a job down in, I work with my family. The contract comes, money's right there. Anyway, then I got a choice. This, what is? And Angel was tied to my family. The dream was tied to my personal family. The other path was tied to my people. I didn't know about Levites at that time. That was tied to people. I always had a special place in my heart for the sisters because I knew what they went through. And I made it in a blink of an eye. Boom, just like that. I walked away from American Dream, all that, and walked to another. Run that path for 35 years. And you look back and I can still go another track. I mean, I get people still call me now. I got to have a good reputation. And somebody called me the other day. I was on there. I was talking. He called me and asked me, "Hey man, can you do something?" When COVID came in, right? Oh man, I was like there was $150 contracts an hour because all these state companies, I mean, these state organizations, right? They was using old code called some COBOL, old languages, right? No state. And the process there, disease or whatever they call it, extension, whatever but that's the kind of computer they was using, and nobody knew how to use that anymore. I was proficient in it because that was one of my first languages I learned. I had to learn a lot of languages, but that was one of my, right? They couldn't find too many people because young people wouldn't deal with that stuff. They would deal with more modern stuff, right? And they were still operating on these old systems. Oh man, I couldn't name my price. I said, no man, I'm dealing with this. I ain't about the money now, I'm about to get this information out. I'm not getting paid, I ain't seen anybody for any money. And then later I learned the difference between Shabazz. I mean, I knew there were Shabazz, but a lot of them never talk about any Levites. I just heard about it with Shabazz. And then I learned, okay, this is primarily about the Levites, and I'm not even a Levite. So I had a choice. I had to make that choice. See, the thing is, that's where he tests people. Give them a choice. And watch what he make. That's what Saul did. He gave him a choice. If you do this, that means you weren't committed, you weren't obedient, because he said, this is what I want you to do. But you weren't committed, you couldn't obey orders. You'd rather have that same thing Esau. He had a choice. Either a bowl of soup, my heritage, show a bowl of soup. I'm more important to him. That's the way he tests. So get back to what I was talking about as time as went on. I knew there was three coming, but I was very careful about it because if I told all the characteristics I knew about them, he'd be sure to say, hey, we're the ones that didn't ever deceive me because I deceived myself. I told them what I was expecting him to look like, and they made himself up like that. That's what happened to my demon wife. And right before that, and he scoped out what I was saying. You better watch out. These sisters, man, they still stupid. They be scoping you out, figure out what you like, what you don't like. And then they become that. Until you get a ring on your finger, and then you find who they really are. That's what happened to me. That's what I told my daughter. I says, if you meet somebody, then listen to me. Oh, you teach me lies? No, I said, teach me wise. If you like tennis, say you don't like tennis. You like chocolate ice cream, say no, I don't like chocolate ice cream. All the things you don't like, say you like. The things you like, say you don't like. And see how they respond. If they say all the things that you like, they say the same thing, you got it. You don't worry about that person because either they don't like what you like or they liars. You see what I'm saying? But they ain't pay attention, so. That's where you try people. You don't necessarily tell people you try them, because then they'll figure out how to cover themselves up so they can pass the test. They will know disguise to put on. What you do, you point out to them what you know, all you do is tell them what disguise they need to wear. So to get that, the point here is you got a choice. So the thing is that when people come along, I knew the street was coming along. He said it's coming along. I didn't know exactly what they're going to look like. I know what the scriptures say they'd be like. Right? And so if they showed up, I would know. Just like if I told everybody, then they would come to disguise themselves. I would know that was that true or not. But this is another thing, see. That same thing I was telling man, right? Okay, they can't disguise themselves because they don't know what disguise is. Oh, no part of disguise. Oh, I got nappy hair and dark hair. Well, how can you say that? That's what Son of Sham is saying. All they can know is they put disguise on based on what they think how it looks like, right? You know, that's all they picture. See the cloud. They don't see the nose. And I say, hey. Disguise. But if you give them the whole picture, then they can disguise something hard to detect them. So no one's fooling me. And the thing is that the question I had, because when I found that when I got full understanding of the mission, it was to get, because initially I thought I had to lead through the tribulation with certain visions I had and stuff, right? But that was wrong. So what I've seen. So the thing is that I'm not meandering. I'm trying to get to a point, but if I go straight to it, and you probably won't get the nuances are important. So the question was, as I said, my primary motivation was the sisters themselves. And I used to wonder about that. Man, you got to communicate with the sister. I can't communicate to them effectively because I'm not a female. I communicate to Angel, but I'm communicating from her perspective. I said, why shouldn't there be a female involved in somehow? And then after a while, it came a while back, right? I ran across because I said, I said, the only person in the Bible that really is important, female, that really stands out is Mary. And she stands out not because of her wisdom or anything, just because she bear witness to a prophet. I mean, she not bear witness, but she bore a prophet, the one you call Jesus. Then I ran across this Sheba. And my first ran across it, as I learned more about the angel, and then I started understanding what that was all about. So why they point her out? What's so special about her? Okay. It took me years to kind of put it together because, like I said, you got to put the whole thing in context. But they very hard with that. There's a reason I see now. Because you had to put a lot of things. You had to know about the world of heaven. You had to know about the time frame, right, and doing things, right. And then finally, the picture came together. Because I'm saying, they can say, man, well, I didn't understand what he was talking about because, then they have a good excuse. Now, that it will work for them. Consequence. But I'd be to blame to some extent, but I mean, how can I be blame not female? It just was confused. I said, something's wrong here, something's missing. If I understand that, then I got it, start getting it. I'm not going to spill the beans here. The thing is the Levites. It's like you pushing a car uphill, and you stop pushing, all of a sudden it rolls back down on you. It's flat, you push it, it stops. And that's where they are. They want to be told, they want to be told how to think. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm doing thinking for them anymore. They're told to be transformed to God, but they don't understand what that means, so they don't think. Transformed to God means nobody's thinking for you anymore. Then you have to achieve to get to the heaven. Nobody gonna sit around, and I'm not gonna sit around here and let you blow up my heaven. I gotta sit around and see what you're doing, check what you're doing to make sure you're doing things right. Hell no. You doing that? Put your ass in the cage somewhere. But you'd be harmless. That's why I'm talking about the tyrant. They're gonna pull a lot of them away someplace that's not strung together. And they don't get it. If you're God, nobody's gonna tell you what to do. You don't have to tell birds what to do. You have to tell horses what to do. So why the fuck I tell you what to do? There we go. Yeah, I go again. The thing is that they don't understand that. And that's why I had to go to tribulation, because they failed on that test time and time and time again. Every time somebody comes and do it, they follow them, they want them to think for them. Like they want Master Muhammad to do it for them, Elijah do it for them, and now they got Farrakhan. And Farrakhan's the evidence that they ain't thinking, because there's no way in the world, if they was thinking, they would have been with him. That's clear evidence. Because everything is going to speak against him. Any bit of thinking. When he's thinking, he's saying, and he's been thinking for him, that's okay. They want somebody to think for him. And it says they're going to be raised to gods. But they don't understand what that means, because it says, if it tells you that, that means you have to start thinking. That's what God's all about. God's the people that think. You have to think. When you think, the world becomes, right now, because you're not thinking, that's why you have all these troubles. When you go to tribulation, right? You're not going through it with weapons and guns. You're going through with this. The 5 pillars, how to use them. Thinking. I think the devils. Somebody asked me, well, how are we going to see all that kind of stuff, right? Well, it tells you right there. Those that know that God do exploits. They do exploits. They ain't worried about that kind of stuff, are they? Because once you got this, you don't see, that's what I'm saying. Because if you ain't thinking those things, you worry about. If anything, you understand anything about the angel, like I said, when I was in Demon Island, I ain't had no money. I had a place to stay, I had anything. Here. I'm locked up, I'm not in jail. I beat the whole damn island. I'm worried about, man, well, what I ain't got no money, man, what I ain't got no lawyer, man, what about that kind of stuff, shit I made. When I came out there, and then stroke. I didn't worry about any of that stuff. They could understand it. I wasn't stressed because I knew that, and I knew once I understood that, my thing was more powerful than theirs, and nothing they could do to me. My thing was more powerful than theirs, and all I had was this. All I had. And they can't understand that. Oh man, worry about my rent, That's the American dream. And that's part of the reason why you're going to separate the demons out, because the choice is going to be between leaving here and staying here. And Farrakhan already said he wants to stay here. Because they're going to, this corresponds to his nature. Even when this is gone, they're going to try to revive it. So like I said, I was correct courses. I'm still thinking, sis. And then it dawned on me, and I've been talking about the last 2 days. But I said I came to a conclusion a while back. The last 2 days it came into focus because I said I got so many things I'm working on right now, and I kind of like they shipping out for 7 days. I had time to focus because I was so busy taking care of this, taking care of that. And so I had I guess you call it free time. I kind of like a stretch. Right? But I thought I'd get more time to think about that Sheba thing. Oh, okay. So I started talking about it. Like I said, it's back in my mind, but so the thing is that they kind of ties together. Like I understood what they would be like, what you'd be like. But if I say that, then someone come and say, "See, I'm Sheba," and of course I already told them what disguise they should have. You see what I'm saying? I told them. And so then I deceive myself, because now I already told them what they should look like, and act like, talk like, and they could be that. But I don't do that. So the thing is that the way I see it, I said, there's got to be a female involved in it somewhere. And that Sheba is. Because there's a female is going to be involved. And I'm not going to say defensively, because I'm just going to leave some things out there for you to think about. Based on peers, I'm going to talk very in general terms. Right? Don't lock me into any of this. Right? I'm saying general because like I said, right now, we're very critical, and I got to be very careful what I say. That's another thing before I go any further. I told people all time and time again, be careful. Be careful what you say, because the devil's paying attention. He said if they understand it, if you tell them, it says, do not give your pearls to swine or it's trample on you. And do not go around and say, nobody knows the day and hour. Now, but see, the point is, so I'm saying, well, they'll change it. And people, oh, man, well, and they say, a demon, Adrian want me to do that. Man, I'm just telling you, man. The devil sent him over here and tell him, man, come and tell us what's going on, man. Remember Herod, he tried to tell the wise man, tell me what's going on, man. So he killed the baby who was born. Same thing Pharaoh, tell me what's going on, man. And the wise man said, hey, man, they got the hell out of there. They ain't going to tell you. But see, you understand this kind of stuff. And I got to deal with that. I got to be wiser than them. I can't tell them I'm going to throw a left hook. And they're going to sit there and, oh, you're going to throw a left hook, and they're going to sit there and take it. At any rate, so apparently there will be a woman involved. Because the reason I'm not going into the details story, you guys figure it out yourself. There's enough information in there. Right? Because the character, hers as a queen, the character, and this, when they talk together, him as a king, her as a queen, not they married or anything like that, right? So apparently there's one, because I've been saying there's got to be a female priest around somewhere so they can explain it in terms of translated angel. I always say that, I think Daniel, the book of Daniel is the female side of the angel because it's connected to the angel. So I say little hints like that. And I'm looking to see if she shows up, is she around or whatever. Testing people. That she's worth spending time with because it says she's a thinker, but she asks questions. You don't ask questions, you're not thinking. Not because you know everything. You don't ask questions, but you ain't thinking. But when you're thinking, then you want information to think with. So you ask questions. Then you ask questions, that means you ain't thinking. And she asked a lot of questions. He turned everything over to her. All these different things he's saying. So it looks like, sounds to me like, I said, who's going to lead the nation? I said, it won't be the three men. That's almost said, that's certain. Right? But maybe it's female. It's person Sheba. Who is she? When she show up? She's smart, she's wise, she's motivated. Remember, she was looking for Solomon, she's motivated. Friday, she everything over to him. Read the story carefully. So you're doing testing to find out who this person is. Like, who's the street? Find who the street is supposed to be. Those things there for a reason. I'm not going into too much detail here, but the point I'm trying to make here is this. You try things like Saul did. If you read in the Quran, Saul did. Test people. And so you say things like, well, you're not required to do something. Like, the house on fire, your children there. Well, you're not required to go there. You get burnt. If you care about yourself and your children, you ain't going in there. Care about your children yourself, you're going in there. You got a choice. Nobody's going to say nothing because he said you ain't required. So now you got a choice. That's how you test people, give them a choice. The choice they make will tell you who they are. So we know Sheba hadn't shown up because there's no females right now that gives a damn about the black people. Nobody give them a choice. Nothing. Give a choice, nothing. But then once you tell them that, then all of a sudden they put disguise on. Now, not motivated. They made a decision. You have a choice. Okay, I'd rather do this. I'd rather do that. That's their priorities. Men and women, same thing. That's why you give them a choice. And sit back, see what happens. And the question, who's going to lead the nation of Islam, is still an open question. It sounds like the tribulation it is. The thing is, and I've been tested more severely than anybody. But there was nobody there. No open, no. It was just a book there and me. A book that didn't know existed. To the extent that it does. Right? No one's telling me yes, no, whatever. That's in my nature. That's about Melchizedek. So he's forever. He was tested. So now his seed be preeminent forever. And they remember how Abraham was tested? We was tested to the Holocaust. It was a test. It was a horrible test. It was a test. See, the test is whether you're going to obey Allah or not whether you're going to say your prayers, whether you're going to fast, whether you believe in God, you're going to, because you didn't know you're going to be made a diamond out of that. You didn't know you're going to be made a God out of that. But every test is reward if you make the right choice. If you make the right choice, like that church, American Dream of this, I know what the reward was. I know people needed this. That's why I made a choice. Because I told I made the choice. Then the reward is, the reward of Melchizedek. I didn't ask for it. Like I said, I'm saying. So that's one of the things happening because I say, okay, then like I said, once you point out, oh, now they're going to put the skies on, it don't work. They fool themselves, they want to. Skies, but now. So I'm going to leave it there on that one. She going, according to that, it's there. She's got to show up. Everything in Scripture is going to be there. She got to show up. Well, she's the one who's going to lead the nation of Islam through tribulation. Maybe some. I know that the sisters need someone to translate in their terms, even then and hereafter. Yeah, the tribulation too. They should lead it, but they will have to have a sister if they're going to survive tribulation. They can guide them and respect and understand. Because not just men go into tribulation, men, male and female. And females have an extra burden if they have children, things like that. So if you think about if you're capable of thinking, but they don't think they won't make it. They outthink the devils. That's what I pointed out, brothers and sisters. That's it. People, it says, the scripture says, who was that talking about? Probably say he knew he was tried. Sometimes you don't know you're tried. Right? I didn't know I was a trial for me. And it's whatever. And like I said, I already did a lot of work to do this direction. And the other direction, unknown. Just pick this book and follow what it says. Totally unknown. But I was doing it. That was the choice. Between this over here or my people. And I made a choice. So people don't understand. They don't understand these things. They don't think. And then once you explain it, all of a sudden now I got a master. Oh, I'm motivated now. Before I'm going. No, don't work that way. Once you identify it, you identify it. You can wear all the match you want. Levites, they're very difficult. I mean, I tried them many ways and they fail every time. Anyway, they're the ones that got to go to tribulation. They don't have anybody to think for them. Good morning, brothers and sisters. It's about these trials. It says, it says, you think you're into hereafter without being tried? You don't understand it. You don't think. That's what makes you a God, thinking. You don't want to think. Now, it wasn't your fault because we was forced not to think. Or we've been open our eyes ever. So now you've been open your eyes and we're afraid to open them. But now, that force is going, somebody pull your eyelids up, then you see, then you close them back. Yeah, I've told them to close for 100 years. Somebody came and said, man, what eyes? I don't have no eyes. You can't see. I see what you must see. What's that? What's seeing? Then you go and grab his eye and put up, oh, what the hell was that? They close it back. And they keep them closed. Oh, man. Oh, man, I like, man, they pushing me around. I like the guy in the walk across the street. I like that. Like, you know, reading for me. I like that. I like, you know, sitting around, somebody reading for me. And then when I go out, somebody walk across the street and hold my hand. I like that. It's an analogy. Nope. That's what's happening. They ain't thinking. You know if somebody got sight or not. Okay, can you see his picture? What picture? Well, you know they can't see. Oh, man, oh, that's red, that's blue, you know. You put the engine in front of them, they don't see anything. They ain't thinking. Engine's not, engine's not as hard as you think it is. Just like seeing is not hard as you think. Why you got to lift your eyes up, lift your eyelids up. What you got to do? Lift your eyelids up. Like for me, right, it was very difficult. Like if you lift your eyes up 20 years, it's going to be hard. Oh man, you might get no pain. Like being exercise a long time, you go out there, man, you go, whoa, man, oh. You keep on going to get used to it. The same thing, even I with an injury, man, I was headache. I stuck with it. And what it told me was that once I got mastered it, it told me was this stuff is simple when we got our right minds back. The reason why it's so complicated because we ain't thinking. When we start thinking, this is easy stuff. It is. I mean, it's hard for you, right? If you go out there and here you are, and you ain't been doing nothing, been getting high and cracking all that kind of stuff, and you ain't done exercise or anything else, and you go in there, somebody 50, man, I can't lift that 50 pounds. Oh. But you normal person, a normal, healthy person, especially a male, you can lift 50 pounds. You can lift up 50 pounds. But you know, man, I can't lift it. So no, you ain't healthy. I know they understand that. You're going to understand it. You're going to make it. Once you start thinking, you understand, or you ain't going to never think it. You're never going to stand off. The angel is really, for us, it's like a child that's a kindergarten. You give them a first grade book, and nobody don't know what the hell. Now, you like, that's first grade, easy stuff, right? Because you read. But for a kindergarten person, that stuff is difficult as hell. That's difficult as hell. Second grade is impossible. Third grade, man, forget it. Then at kindergarten, once they get to fifth, sixth grade, man, look at man, stuff with Jack and Jimmy up the hill. And then you're simple. But devils can never get it. Like for kindergarten, so they can't add subtract. But you normal high school, college, where they got you operating on a kindergarten basis. So stuff is very simple to use, complicated. Oh man, it's complicated. Then you're simple. And just telling you what level you're operating on. Once you're operating on your level, you come to God's, you come to full knowledge of self. You look at it and say, man, that's simple stuff. Once I got a hold of it, you see, I talk about it like, yeah, I go into it. I talk, and everything I say, you can back up 100%. No matter. Well, I talk to it like it's just reading a newspaper. Because it's simple. But I realized how dumb I was. Well, I wouldn't say dumb. How weak my mind was. I wouldn't say it either. How weak my brain was. Right? Once I got it. So, damn, y'all was operating on that level? I was operating on a kindergarten level, man. Yeah, I'm a grown man. Because that's what it had us. I rate on a kindergarten level. Our language was yes, sir, master, no, sir, no, master, no. We didn't say no. Master, no, no. I don't know, master, maybe no in that context. That was your conversation. And you need words to think. You had no words. You need words to think. The more words you got, the more you can think. You had no words. Yes, sir, master. No, sir, master. Yes, I picked the cotton, master. Any more thing else, master? Can I have something to eat, master? That was your language for 20 years. Damn. So I don't blame you for that's just way to put us in. But to test this right now, do you want to ride? Are you used to? You got used to swimming that pond of shit? Or you said, man, this thing is stink. I want to get out of it. That's the question. Those clean service. Or you want to stay in condition, or you want to rise above it? You have the ability to rise above it. But most of it, I don't see anybody riding above it. You know when you start reading that angel, understand those verses in there, start to break that stuff down. And you know, if you ain't doing that, you still know that. And that's the qualification, because it tells you clearly, they washed their robes in the blood of the Lamb. And you didn't know what that was, for I told you there was 2 books in there. If you don't, you got to be on that level. And, you know, if ands and what's about it. Male and female, you got to be on that level. Now, I shouldn't say this. It's going to sound like a threat. Females, I don't want to say this. But see, you need to be told exactly how things work mathematically. You come through tribulation if you make it. Without shame and appallment. Females, that's another course. You know, hear things about polygamy? I told that years ago. I told it too much because people get all messed up. That was not a male idea, that was a female idea. Talk about the Crimson War. Some of you may remember that. The Crimson War happened 62 trillion years ago. When they had the gender. At that point, it wasn't a problem. But then once gender came along, there was a bunch of females, like 2 and 3, 3 to 1. And they remember they had established the idea of marriage. Because you didn't have it before, it was just wasn't no gender. So okay, now, okay, this is my partner. So everybody partnered up. Okay, now, you know, they're one being, right? So say you had 100 males, 600 females. Yeah, 500 females don't have anybody. They said, well, they didn't want that. And the ones that had somebody say, man, don't leave my man alone. And they had a war between the females. I know you never told about this. That's a fact. The war between, because they said, man, no, you can't have by yourself. It tells you, it gives you a hint in the Bible. It gives you a big hint in the Bible. It says during that time that males be so, I should get to, you can look it up. It says, I think it says take 7 women, take hold of 1 man. It tells you right in the scripture. It said be such few females, be such few males that 7 females would take hold of 1 man. In other words, they beg the man, and they be right there. Let me go find it. Look it up real quick. The second round says it. It's everything I said I can prove. You ever found it? It's Isaiah 4:1. 7 women shall take hold of one man. And see how it says. This is comments. Depicting a future time and extreme desperation of society of men who offer to provide their own food, clothing, only asking to bear the man's name to move the stigma of being unmarried. That's basically what it's been. Remember, this is the females doing this. See, they tell you that no, it's a female thing. The males didn't want it because the females pushed it. That's what said right here. They're going to do it. The females going to do it. And see, if you make it through the hereafter, you make it there and you ain't on a mental level, you'll be somebody's plaything. I don't want to say that. See? Because I'm trying to be a champion for the females. But you got to be a champion for yourself. Somebody's concubine, their plaything. See? Because you choose not to think. I'm trying to point out all these things out to you. It's right there. Don't take my word for it. It's scripture. I told you it's Isaiah 4. The females, they don't. Right now, the females don't have anybody speak for them. They're not speaking to them. I'm speaking. But I can't speak in their terms. I don't know how. I ain't going to try. Make a fool of myself. So, this sister Sheba come along. But she manifests herself, right? And she's not going to take and think for you either. She's going to be able to translate the angel in female terms. That's about it. Nobody's going to think for you anymore. Okay, let's move on, brothers and sisters. One heaven. Now I'm going to go, I talked about this before, so move a little bit. I read this yesterday. I'm going to go over it. Something I talked about yesterday, right? From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, and violence taken by force. So tell me right there. There's violence in heaven from the times of John, from times of John the Baptist. And look at the last verse down here. And if you will receive it, then this is Elias. Elias, no name. I know they're talking about Elias. In this case, they're talking about Elijah, their translation. But Elijah, right? Which was for to come. Right? See? So what it's telling you is that John the Baptist is Elijah. So from his time on, right, that's when it trying to take kingdom of heaven by force. So the kingdom of heaven, violent men, the violent men. See? The violent take it. Well, I don't say violent take it, depending on translation. So that means it has to be placed here on earth. It's not over in the Middle East. And they also show you that bound between John the Baptist and Elijah. I said to you, among those who are born of women, they have not risen a greater than John the Baptist, my Elijah. Now, saying he least the least came of heaven. That means, as great as Elijah was, the least in the kingdom of heaven be greater than him. I don't see any evidence that around. Elijah stood toe to toe. He didn't play games. He didn't fuck around. He went to prison for years because he refused to back down. They told him, all you got to do is be quiet for the next 4 years. Just don't say anything. We'll leave you alone. We have war. We can't have you out there telling black folks. Right? He said, hell with you. I'm not going to stop preaching where the God told me to preach. You ain't say anybody like that around? Well, How about you? Well, I told you, I Demon Island, and I didn't back down. They threw me in jail. I didn't back down. I remember when they have a lineup in jail, right? I think like a nightly thing to see how many people or whatever. And they had everybody lined up, right? And I'm the only black person in there, right? But Demon Island is mostly, I call it Demon Island, because when the Spanish went in there, this is Guam. Guam. You can check this out. They killed all the males, babies, everything. Anything that was male, they killed. And they took the women. So everybody in there is really Spanish. Most of them light skin anyway. Right? So now you're in the Guam. They kill all the Guams. The original Guamanians, they had nappy hair. We got pictures of them, just like in Hawaii. Original people see Polynesians, people from China and all that kind of stuff. Go look up the original Hawaiians. Princess that was in one place, they took the kingdom from her. She had nappy hair and dark skin. The people over there in the Hawaiians, they're Polynesians. Now I stayed in Hawaii for about 6 months, and I was homeless. So I ended up in Hawaii. Right? I was homeless there for a while too. Right? And then I came back home. I was home for 6 months. But I met some real Hawaiians while I was there, and they had one of them old islands. I was on the main island, Diamond, I think Diamond or whatever. But I saw some real ones, and they had them like all islands. You don't know anything about. And they had nappy hair, dark skin, the real Hawaiians. Anyway, it's telling you right there. That's how they spread out so you can't connect the two together. They tell you right there. He did John the Baptist. We're talking about John the Baptist, talking about Elijah. Farrakhan, he's talking about, I'm going to let it go here, boss. I think I've been much longer. It's probably my 1.5 hour things. Half an hour thing. One and a half an hour sessions. But I talk about, and I kind of like got into stuff I wasn't planning on getting into until my later ones. I'll still do a later one. Maybe I'll just call this my later one. Short one. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Because right now, brothers and sisters, I think Trump is in China now. Everybody's saying he's trying to deal with China to go back Iran because they're going to attack Iran. The big war is on. The big bash, big explosion. They said it's going. They expect it to take place in China or just to leave China if he can make some kind of deal to get them to back betray Iran. They want to hit Iran. They don't want any repercussions. They don't want China to get involved. They want Russia to get involved. I think he called Russia all day. They said we're talking to Russia about like 2 hours. Russia, go take a hike, man. I'm not going to back off from Iran. And so if they get us, we're going to China, gotta talk to them because I tell you, it's a lot of details. I'm not going to, brothers and sisters. I told you quite a bit already. What that's all about. But the big final. Let me just go down to it. Daniel explains it. We're in the 6th seal now. If you're thinking and you want to do some background, 6th seal is where we are right now. The great shaking is the war in the Middle East. Her war in heaven. Chapter 12. Michael is matched by Muhammad. Angel of the Shia. This is Daniel. At time of the south, at time of the end. We're in times now. How come they ain't tell you about this? He said, this is a big thing to happen at time of the end. It says that time of the end. So we're at time of the end. The people over there, John Hagen, that Zionist crowd, think so. Because that's why they pushing with help. They says they don't lie themselves so much they confuse their own self. Right? They say it's going to be abomination, desolation. When that happens, that's going to make Jesus come back, and that's going to be the end. They had it backwards. So now they're trying to back off because they've been talking this abomination, desolation stuff for years. They had it backwards. They thought it was going to be Jews being attacked by the Arabs. Or genocide over there would be against the Jews. And then at the end, the Jews are going to say, hey, man, okay, we give up, man. We believe in Jesus. Jesus come to save us. When everything is gone and they have no hope left, they're going to say, they see it, they're about to be totally destroyed. The bomb is desolation, or their destruction is nigh. They're going to say that part. They'll call on Jesus. And after Jesus will come, get rid of all the Arabs, disbelieve all the Muslims, and say the Jews, they're chosen people. And then that's Armageddon, and then so forth, so on. It's backwards, the other way around. They're attacking the Arabs, so that's why they don't want to say it, speak to it, because, it was something wrong here. It's not the way it's said. And they talk about the king of the south, king of the north. Say the king of the south, king of the north is Germany. The king of the south is Persia. Oh, they're so messed up. That's what they was teaching. I used to watch that stuff. See what they was teaching. Once I started getting to Israel, right? King of the south is America, British, False Israel. They're pushing at the king of the north, which is Iran. This is not speculation, that's what it is. So if you look at Daniel, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's the final battle. This is the final battle right here. Read this, the final battle right here. Before this, look at this chapter, this is verse 40. Look at the previous verses. They were back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. In verse 40, that's this final battle that they get ready to have. They said America's got all kind of troops over there. They built all kind of forces over there. Make a big push. Final battle. Final battle. They expect to take place this sometime between now and this weekend. The king of the south shall push him. The king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind. Iran is coming, and Muhammad will be behind him. And when this happens, Muhammad will be exposed himself. He will reveal himself to Michael and his angels. He will reveal himself. His mother planes, they're going to be revealed. And they're coming at this America, Britain, most of all the places, they're mostly evacuated already. They still got some place. They'll be totally thrown out of the Middle East, and false Israel are going to be captured. It tells you in chapter 19, I believe it is. It says, and the wild beast was captured, with him the false prophet. Let me get that one for you real quick, brothers and sisters. Hold on. Hold on, let me bring that verse up real quick. Let's see, hold on. Let me pay attention to this verse either. I think it's chapter 19. Get it real quick. There it is, yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to take and include this in. I should have brought this in before. Just bring this in. And close out. And here you go. Here's a I should have closed a long time ago, but so much stuff, brothers and sisters. Okay, here we go. Here. And I saw the wild beasts and the kings of earth, and the armies of them have been held together to make war with the setting upon the horse with the army of him. If you understand what's on the horse, that's matched by Muhammad. I saw the wild beasts and the kings of earth, right? And the armies of them have been led together to make war with sitting upon the horse and with the army of him. The wild beast is talking about America. And was caught the wild beast, and was it the false prophet? See, Israel is a prophet. They're the false prophet. Israel was called a prophet. False prophets, false Israel. It was caught the wild beast America, and with it the false prophet having done signs inside of it. And they do signs. Oh, see, we returned home. We choose Abraham, right? In which he made the earth having received the graven of the wild beast, the worst image of it. Then were thrown to lake of fire, burning in sulfur. This what's about to happen. That's the result of it. And leftovers killed off the long sword, thing upon the horse, and having killed right by the shear. Have set upon the horse, having gone forth out of the mouth of him, and all the birds were satisfied out of the flesh of them. Okay. The birds, what birds talking about? So you got to understand the key again. Talking about the leave the Sheba, the Shia again. It is. I said, wild beast, the king of earth. You understand the angel key? You understand this? You understand? Kings of earth. That's European countries. America's leading them. Anyway, I'm going to close out, brothers and sisters. This is where we are right now. We're trying to this happen soon. They say it could start happening. Once this war reignites, that's what you're going to see. And when you see that, they said, they see it, I don't know, they copied my words. They said, Iran's lit some great an atomic bomb. I said that. They took words out of my mouth. This war, they're in trouble. Everything's backfiring on them. Let me say it this way. Say, for instance, here you are, and there's a wall there. The wall is made of solid rubber. I mean, real thick rubber, so thick the bullet can't penetrate it, the bullet bounce back off. So here you are, you got a machine gun. And you don't know that wall is made out of rubber like that, right? And you start shooting at all, boom, the bullets come right back at you. That's happening in America. That's consequence. America's full of, see, we stop submitting. Our submission was damming up, or somebody punch you, and reaction, opposite reaction, but you don't react. That means you hold it up. So you take these punches, all these punches building up on you. Get more and more sore. You get building up on it. Building up on you. Punches building up on you. So you do it for a whole year. Take 365 punches, each punch 10 pounds. So now you got 365 times 10, 3,750 pounds of all that pent up in you, man. You beat up really bad. But you haven't seen, you haven't punched back. Now you punch back. One day, that's why I said, Bible, I'm taking down in one day. Punch down in one day, all that's 360, they can't survive. A punch that's 365 pounds, 3,650 pounds. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it works. It's called the C-bomb. Understand? So the thing is that our submission, remember the angels, Adam was given power. He's given the rule. Only way he could rule, the angels submit to him. And submit, he couldn't rule. That's why it says, who's in control then? The ones that allow him to rule. Jinn said, no, we ain't. They fight with him. They've been fighting with him for the last 5 years. That's Sunni Arabs. They've been fighting with him for 5 years and haven't won a battle yet. We're in submission for 5 years. Is that a coincidence? I mean, we was damming up what they was doing to us. They had no consequence. And that's what they call period of grace. They was getting away with it. They thought there was. That's why it says, leave them alone, let people go, because they about to explode. C-bomb. They about to hit you back with $3,750 punch. They let them go, because that's what the plagues are. Plagues are I punch back at them. Said, do them double it's done to you. So now the plague, remember, if we do double it's done to us, that means it was held back. Now we're doing it. So now the grace is over. That's what's saying here. So in other words, ever since 2020, everything America's doing backfiring on them. Because nobody's submitting to them anymore. They got you, some of you, still in that bag, but the original nation does not require to submit to them anymore. So then, bam. So now everything is bouncing back at them. The bullets, in other words, instead of the war, absorbing those bullets, they're bouncing back. They went over and attacked Iran, and now they're worse off than it was before. But now the whole world is rocking because of what America did. America said, hey man, this thing will backfire. Now you destroy the economy of the world. You would destroy their economy, and now you destroyed America's economy, and you destroyed the economy of the whole world. You destroy their army, now you're destroying your army. And you know what I'm saying? Everything I told you about backfire, I told you the consequences said we was damming it up, and now it's released. Everything they do is backfiring. And this war they get ready to do right now, to get ready to attack Iran, it's going to backfire big time. It's going to totally wipe them out. Every time I shoot a bullet, they walk, bounce back, right back at them. Bam. Everything's backfiring. That's what you can expect. Everything America doing is backfiring on them. Everything. COVID backfired on them. They all know, oh, so you understand COVID. I'm going to leave you on this balance. Go check the World Health Organization on COVID. It did not affect Black Africa. It did not affect Haiti. They lied. They said we dropped like flies. No, we weren't. There's two things you need to know. First of all, when they do all their testing and drug testing and all that kind of stuff, they do it on white people's genealogy, white people's DNA. They have different DNA that we do. That's why you can be careful taking these things. You have to take these medications. It's designed for theirs. And it could kill you. It's designed for their physiology. It could kill you. We ain't the same. So COVID was meant to take us out. Just like crack was. See, you don't think. Think about it, if you can think. You think some drug makers come out and say, hey man, hey, let's make some crack up. No, that's not what they do. They go out there and they mix something up, and they put it out there and see what happens. If you come back, it means it's good stuff. You don't come back, it probably killed you. That's how they do it. So they test. They keep putting this stuff out there. They don't tell you it's different. Oh, it's, hey man, this is just some marijuana. They put something in it. The stuff they put in now is different stuff they had when I was in Vietnam. I ain't test, so I could tell you. I'm just saying, you're telling me I don't smoke the stuff anymore. The thing is that when they invent these drugs and stuff, and they do drug testing on white people's physiology. It may kill you. That's why I don't want, you're trying to give me, I don't take it. You're going to give me something? No, I don't take any shots, anything. It'll kill you because our physiology is not the same. So what happened was they tested COVID. They didn't realize they was testing on, instead of black people, those demons. Who they black, but they got devil physiology. Farrakhan's the devil. It's follows the devil. I showed you the link. Go look it up. They tell his theology, they just go kill devils because it was killing them. Say, hey, working. It's killing. They're gonna kill them niggas. They test in China because they didn't want to know what's going on over here. Why test over there? They didn't want people to know what's going on over here. And then they released it. Right? It was killing blacks, demons, and it killing whites. Killed more because it wasn't killing Black Africa. Go check. What's that word for it? Black Africa never did any social distancing, no wore masks, none of that stuff. But it was killing white folks all over the place, especially as far as this. It was white killing them out like you can't imagine. And in fact, me, when the original black people, let's say, was really sick with something else, it wasn't killing them. They test on the wrong people. They test on demons. It's like backfire on their ass. I told you that years ago. When I told you back when they first came out, that was happening. It backfired on them. Everything was backfiring. And this war going back. This economy is going to totally. They're going right now. The purpose they're going right now is totally destroy the economy, totally destroy the government, and that's what's going to happen here. That war is going to cause total collapse. Economy in America and economy in Europe. That's called Armageddon in Europe. Oh, it's read chapter 15, chapter 18 rather. Total economic collapse. Everything they do is backfire. Consequence. Consequences immediate, except if you dam it up by don't react. We said no, we're not going to react. We're going to submit. Therefore, they appear to grace. They got to wait. Let's get away with this stuff. Just dam it up. So now, once it's released, it says, do unto them as they've done to you. That's not no. Now they're paying. So as you've done, so it'll be done to you. Hope you understand, but I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. Much longer than I expected to. That's what's happening. Like I said, tribulation, final trial. Trial by fire. Sink or swim. Y'all think devils? We be defeated by the devils. You got to think, be above them. That's gravitational vortex is their thought process. American dream, everything. American dreams will be shut down. All that's gone. But you still gonna have them. Still gonna have to be dealing with them. They them. There's some people who hold on by blandishment. Oh, we with you. But think about it. They still in that. That means they still expect you to think for them. They're with yeah, whatever you say, man. So they was able to survive. Plus, you don't even have food. Will the demons have food? Well, that's no story, but I shouldn't get into that. I spill the beans on them. I don't care about them, really. But they pay attention to this too. So remember, Suleiman takes over NOI, economic collapse on the way. It ain't hit yet, it's on the way. People see it coming. And that's why I feel fear those things come from earth. But now demons are kicked out. So they know. So remember, it says, Legion says, he knew who the Son of Man was. He knew. So I know who you are. Please don't make me leave the country. Same back over there with the swine. All the people went with him. But they got it. It means they have no insight too. What's they going to do? The famine ain't hit yet. It's on the way. It's coming fast. They're going to take down all the groceries, everything they can get hands on. What bad they're going to take and grab it. What they're going to do. I told you. So they will have something to eat too. They're not going to be cannibals. So they do. That might get some of you messed up. Oh man, they got something to say with them. Some of you gonna be pulled over there. It's your fault. That's on you. Lack of knowledge. So remember, because they know they're familiar with some of this. They're paying attention to this. So there was beef one just for it hits here. So economic collapse. Farrakhan would not be leading them. He'd be with them. He won't be leading them. He'd be one of their lieutenants, whatever. But no, it's going to be a Christian, somebody like an MLK figure. It's a big Christian is leading the demons. They're demon war for 5 months. They're going to take, once they see it, man, let's everything we can. If they do turn cannibal, it'd be because they ran out of food, but I don't see that one. We'll leave it there, brothers and sisters. I said a lot of things that haven't been said. That's why we're here. We're in it. The next few days are very critical. They ain't over to China for no reason. China the one told them, China told we ain't gonna pay attention to your sanctions. China stand up against them. You better not stop our ships. Why is China doing all that? We don't care about your sanctions. You better not mess with us. That's what China's saying. And we not pay attention to your sanctions. You better not stop our ships. And they giving Iran. Oh, wait a minute. Remember the goat? I told you the goat was China, India. They said the goat got really angry at the ram. He came with great anger. I told you. I said when they come, they become very angry because the goat China, India, I'm get ahead of myself a little bit, or maybe I'm not. China, India, that's the one. In the Angel Key says, when America get kicked out of the Middle East, there's going to be a war in Europe. The Europeans, I told you, the Europeans going to turn that was happening? I told you years ago. I said Europe and Russia. Europe is going to turn against America. They're going to side with Russia. And they're going to, you see it right now. They get mad at Europe. So they're going to dissolve NATO. Get mad at Europe because they want to help get rid of open the straits and whatever. And when the economic collapse comes, Europe is going to be total economic collapse. They're going to blame America for it. Because if you weren't doing this stop over there, right, we wouldn't have had this. Because now it's going to, this war is going to shut down. It's already shut down, but it's going to economic collapse all across the world, especially in Europe, It's the only way to have oil is Russia. And they're going to be nice with Russia. And so now all American Britain, all America's bases, they got many bases in Europe. They say they got hundreds. They're going to be under attack. Now Europe's on the side of Russia. America got to rush there. That's going to finish off the American economy. They're going to have to seize all the oil that they claim they produce over here in order to fight that war in Russia and in Europe. They'll be on attack. They'll be fighting Russia and the former European allies. That's Armageddon, the European war. And when they're doing it, when Russians, when China, India, the Europeans are tearing themselves apart, that's what it says about the dragon had 10 heads, 7 horns, and crowns upon his horns. Because that beast had 7 heads, 10 horns, crowns the crowns on the heads of the dragon, the crown shifts to the horns. That's talking about the 10 horns of China, India. They become the world powers because Americans and Europeans kill themselves, tear themselves apart. And they say, hey, we ain't going to let them get back up on their feet. We're going to attack them while they're down. They're going to come, they're going to pick out Britain on the way here. They'll come here, and by the time the demons have taken America, they're going to end up taking America. America will be total chaos. Can I do it? By the time the Levites, during tribulation, if they survive and make it to the West Coast, that's when China's going to arrive. That's what it's talking about. It says, the Red Sea open up and let them through. The Red Sea open up and let the Levites through. And they close in on Pharaoh's army. It would be the demons that didn't, primary demons, whoever with them. That's what's happening the next few days, bro. Says Assalamu alaikum. I'll talk about this later, bro. Sisters. What's out? Here you go. You better hurry up. These sisters need somebody to speak to them. She'll be on time, wherever she is. King Solomon gave Queen Sheba all her desire. Where she asked, beside if she had brought unto the king to turn and went away to own country, on land, and his servants. So he met him, they could met on land. What's on land? Arabia. Oh boy. Jesus. Okay. The Greek name Jesus, as this is Google, as recorded New Testament, is, I can't pronounce that, it's a Greek name. Translated to and they pronounce E-A-S-U. See, that name doesn't exist anywhere. Now, where did I get this from? Oh, excuse me. No, I didn't get it from. Yes, I did. I got this from Google. Let me show you what I got. And actually, it's a transliteration of Hebrew, Aramaic, Joshua, or Joshua. See, they trick you. There's never any just Jesus. They need Joshua. But they don't want you to know who Joshua is because Joshua is going to lead us out of here. All this happened 5 years ago. Let me go on. Here's the Greek translator. This is Jehovah's Witness. They play a game there too, right? But see here, if you can notice this, I can see it. Here's the English they translate, but here's the Greek over here. Now look what they say Jesus here, but look what they call over here. This is the name, this is the made up name, this is a Greek name for Lord. Look at that, Jesus. Jesus is the name for God. Zeus is the name for the God. G is a prefix meaning earth. So Jesus is God earth. That's where Jesus came from. But that's not even the name to use here. I can't pronounce that name. You see? Name they made up. You're praying to nothing. Fake. That name did not exist before 500 years ago. They say this is a name that existed up to 500 years ago, whatever how you pronounce that. In Greek, if you look in Hebrew or Aramaic, it's Joshua. It's like it says here. Greek Aramaic, that's the written scriptures. It's Joshua or Joshua. Oh, you've been deceived when they're walking around that cross, riding neck, all that kind of stuff. Look at here, brothers and sisters. When it's over, spring's coming in. It's about to explode. I'm going to be made shown, then it's going to manifest. Son of man, light and boat. It's a great light. It's going to manifest up there. It's going to be a big shout out up there. You say, this is my son, well pleased. Farrakhan, we in trouble, ain't we?
Oh, and I keep telling people this, watch out. When we collapse, we're going to collapse with a loud bang, and people's lives are going to be ruined. It's not going to just be $8 a gallon at the pump. It's going to be you can't afford anything. You can't even afford to eat. You can't afford to have a roof over your head. You certainly can't afford all those things you've been thinking about, like a college education for your children and so forth. That's where we're headed. And we're doing it to ourselves.
Not just anybody, brothers and sisters. Remember Colin Powell? That was his assistant in the White House. Reagan, excuse me, Trump, all of them. This was coming. I got many other quotes from people like him. Everybody sees it. We'll see it in a minute. It's talking about the Middle East totally broken. But this war, see, Iran, they're going to be revived, going to take control of the whole Middle East. Bloodbath. All of chiefdoms will take control of the Middle East. All the kings, everything, they're caught, they'll get their heads chopped off, burned to death. Have their head chopped off. They don't like burning in Islam. That's what's about to happen. They're talking about breaking the power of holy people, Sunni Arabs, again. That's about to happen. Iran says if we start back again, I'm going to knock out all those Arab countries. Sunni Arab countries. Knock all American bases out of the region. That's happened for us.
$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings.
That's it, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.